What's up, ladies and gents? xcalizorz here, bringing you some more Star Wars: The Old Republic. We are back on Lord Funaki. Star Wars: The Old Republic #1 Marauder. Indeed. Take that to the bank. It's a surefire bet, but anyway, I have decided that I am going to level from this point on just on PvP, and I'll probably make another alt once I get to level 50 because I don't really need more characters to do dailies for. I already have my bounty hunters, and I still like my bounty hunters. My mercenary, I've actually spec'd him healer because I'm a pussy face. Healing is just so easy, and to do DPS as a mercenary bounty hunter, I just don't feel like pressing that many buttons anymore. So healing is just a way for me to be doubly useful, and it's just easy, and it's a lot more useful than doing damage, as unfortunate as that is for any aspiring bounty hunters. If you want my recommendation, go power tech unless you specifically want to be a healer, because DPS mercenary bounty hunters really don't bring anything to the game other than being annoying. Like with the tracer missile spam, that's a pretty hot topic. I think it's actually pretty funny because once you get in the bounty hunter's face, there's not really much you can do about it. So I mean, if you let any range class, or not even any class in general, just sit there and beat on you, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's melee from range, chances are if they're a DPS class, they're gonna rape your face off. Now granted, with in the case of the tracer and grab round spam, I mean, it is very annoying because they really don't have to hit many buttons. I used to play the tracer missile spec. I mean, some people will argue, it's like, oh, we have to do so much more, blah, blah, blah. No. You hit you hit tracer missile, you do rail shots, and then you do unloads whenever it procs. I mean, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and then heat seeker missiles every 15 seconds. I mean, there are videos out there of people doing like 250k damage doing nothing but tracer missile. But at the same time, if they let him get away with doing that much damage for just hitting one button, they probably weren't very good to begin with, because whenever I'm playing on Funaki or Scott Hall, I make it a point to absolutely demolish vanguards, or commandos rather, excuse me, commandos and mercenary bounty hunters, because there's not really a damn thing they can do about it. They're easy to kill, and even if there is a healer, it's probably best to just get on that get on the tracer grab round spammer, because they really can't do anything about it. They're just gimp. They're gimp. There, I said it. So to sum up, if you want to be a bounty hunter, go with the power tech or go with the vanguard, unless you specifically want to be a healer. And as far as the class goes, when they're healing, I'd say they're pretty solid, very sturdy. I can definitely take quite a beating if cooldown's up. So yeah, not too bad. I've contemplated making a PvP gameplay on my healer, but I figure that's kind of boring. People like seeing numbers, but not the green numbers that keeps everyone alive. They want to see the numbers that mean death. I don't really blame them, so maybe I will, maybe I won't. Haven't decided. We'll see. But anyway, moving on. I will say, like, for whatever reason, ever since I got Annihilate, or maybe it's as I got higher level and had new abilities that made me, you know, more adamant on like carrying the ball and supporting the ball. It's like before I didn't have like the AoE mez or the predation. Well, actually, I think I've had predation for a while. I don't know, but something has changed. And there is just an obscene amount of knockbacks, and it feels like I'm getting the full brunt of that. And I love how long it takes to get out of combat. Just fucking jumping around. Get me out of combat. How long do I have to sit here before I finally dropped combat. Thank God this guy didn't see me. You know, it actually probably would have been more beneficial just to die. Excuse me. Ah, delicious water. Yeah. It's crazy that we can go from WoW, where Rogue gives you a blind, and then he can drop combat if it lasts full duration. But in this game, I really don't know how it works. I mean, it seems like it's 20 seconds guaranteed if, like, you manage to LOS the guys you're in combat with for, like, 20 meters or whatever. But if you run away, it's a little bit quicker than that. But if you're running away, just takes you out of the action for that much longer. It's just a giant pain in the ass. And I've noticed, like, my damage has actually gone down. I don't know if it's because, like, I've become so annoying as a Marauder that people will save their stuns and CCs for me. Like, this one game, well, I don't even know how to describe it other than I just got hit with everything, including the kitchen sink. I mean, that's how bad it was. And, like, let me just, if you haven't played this game, it is theoretically possible to control someone for more than 20 seconds. It is entirely possible. I've done it to people with just what I have on my own, just basic snares. You know, my mercenary bounty hunter, I have a 7-second mez, and then I follow that up with a stun, with a 4-second hard stun. And I've done that to a lot of people, and that's 11 seconds of CC that, unless he has his 2-minute trinket cooldown up, there is not a damn thing he can do about it. And on top of that, you can hit him with roots and snares, and it's not affected by resolve. Like, resolve is this game's piss poor of an excuse for diminishing returns. Like, it's like, basically, like, your resolve bar will fill up if you eat too many crowd controls. Like, eventually it'll fill up, and then it'll make you completely immune to mezzes and stuns, but it doesn't make you immune to roots or snares or anything like that. So, I mean, there have been multiple times where I'll be trying to, you know, to get a touchdown in this game, or score with the hut ball, whatever the hell they want to call it. And, like, I'll get a full resolve bar, and I still have a fair amount of health, and I think, yeah, I'm gonna score here, and then all of a sudden I just eat immobilize after immobilize after immobilize, and God forbid if these people were actually coordinated. Like, I actually am scared to think of what rated war zones would do to this game, because there's just so much innately wrong with the combat as it is, and God forbid if people actually get competitive and start breaking this game down to a science. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse unless some drastic changes are made. I mean, like I said, it is theoretically possible to control someone for 30 seconds, and there's not a thing he can do about it unless he's getting support from teammates or has his 2-minute trinket. But even then, I don't know. It's something definitely needs to be done. Like, I mean, look at this map. It's all narrow pathways, and all these classes have knockbacks. Every class has a stun, which I think is brilliant. Especially, I've been more adamant about carrying the ball on my Marauder because, like I said earlier, I have more tools to help me score. And it's just 8 people with multiple stuns, multiple snares, multiple immobilizes. I just don't understand the reasoning as to why they did it. And it's one of the things that really pissed me off about WoW is that eventually, with the giant class homogenization that they did, it just became less and less distinctive as to what classes could do what. Like, it wasn't specific anymore, and it's one of the big reasons as to why I stopped playing it, on top of totems being a big giant bag of dick. Hey, let's turn all of the shaman's cool buffs into auras, plain ass auras that Frost Death Knights can bring. Yeah, and still keep us tied to stationary totems that have to be recasted and redropped whenever there's movement, which is just a big giant bag of shit. Pretty much big bag of shit, and I don't like it. And I love how like the 90-point talent specialization for Panda World is basically improving totems on like 3 different ways to improve your totems. And it's no, I'm not gonna play it as someone who loved my shaman very much, loved it enough to grind High Warlord the old-fashioned way, the hardcore way. It's, I don't know, just completely I don't know, I just don't understand it. Like there must be someone who has been there since the very beginning who, you know what, we're gonna have totems and that's the last thing. No, we're not gonna talk about it anymore. We'll just put band-aids and band-aids and band-aids on it, even though it needs just needs amputation. Just get rid of it. I don't want to talk about WoW. This is Star Wars, new game. But yeah, it's so many knockbacks, and as you can see, this map is just all these narrow pathways, and there are not very many ways back up. And thankfully, I do have force charge, and I'm actually smart about it. Like, if you're playing a Marauder and you're tired of getting knocked all over the place and waiting for force charge to come off cooldown, you probably want to save force charge until after you get knocked back, instead of like seeing a bounty hunter. Look, I gotta go kill the bounty hunter. You charge the bounty hunter and he knocks you away. I mean, that's to be expected each and every single time. And yeah, as you can see here, I saved my force charge. Unfortunately, he knocked me into the goddamn pit. I hate the goddamn pit. But luckily, my force charge is up, so I'm easily able to get back into the action. So you just want to be patient with the force charges. Try not to use it until after you get knocked back, or like the sorcerers use their sprint or their knockback, or you know, what have you. So yeah, there that is. It sucks that you have to do that, but apparently the people who made and look at this, like I don't know what it is with the 10 through 49 bracket, but every single sorcerer or sage, or maybe not every single one, but about 95% of them have that stupid bubble explode that mezzes you for like 3 seconds, and then they have that root that's tied into their knockback, and don't even get me started on that. I hate it so goddamn much. And then there are the snipers who have their 7-second cover pulse thing, and then they have like the 5-second leg shot. Why is there so much? And apparently this is actually not surprising for people who have like played Warhammer, because like EA Mythic, like I think that's the name of the team, is Mythic. Like, they're big giant failures, and they're the big reason why Warhammer PvP is a giant big bag of shit. And for whatever reason, they got stuck on the BioWare team, and that's the reason why we have crappy Ilum PvP and the amount of stuns and CCs that there are in this game. I mean, I don't know what changed from when I was like level 29 to level 45 that I am now. But it's just becoming more and more apparent that, I mean, there's just too much. It really is. And I'm sorry that this is coming, well, I know this is coming off as very ranty, but I mean, something needs to be done about it. I mean, they need to rework Resolve or make proper diminishing returns. I think one thing I would do is when you pop your trinket, it gives you like 5 seconds of immunity. 5 seconds of immunity from having new snares or roots applied to you. I think that'd be a step in the right direction, on top of making roots and snares apply to Resolve. I mean, there's a reason why they nerfed Frost Shock, because it was cheap as shit. I mean, back in vanilla, I mean, God knows how many people I beat in PvP just by spamming Frost Shock. There wasn't a thing they can do about it. So that's why they made it so that when it snares them for 8 seconds, and then the next time you cast it, 4-second snare. Next time you cast it, 2-second snare. And after that, if you haven't, like, I don't know, tinkered around with your timings or whatever, then they're immune to it for the next, like, 10 seconds, I think. Something like that. I don't know. Before it starts over from the beginning again, 8, 4, and 2. I just, I don't know. So I'm curious, like any of you PvP fanatics out there, I'm curious as to what you think about it. So I don't want to, just so that I know that I'm not completely crazy. Like I didn't mind it too much on my bounty hunters because, you know, they're both ranged, or it's my power stick is like a ranged hybrid, so it doesn't really bug me too much when I get knocked back because I can still do something. But on the Marauder, it's infuriating, and I'm surprised I haven't broke something yet. Uh, Hopefully that doesn't happen. All of my peripherals were quite expensive. But, yeah. Sorry for the rant. I just had to get that out. It's been a frustrating couple of games on my Marauder. Grapples and stuns and snares and so on and so forth. There's just too many of them. But I digress, and it's time to end. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, peace soup.